Hi, I'm Annie Botticelli, and this is the Storyteller Forecast for Cancer for April 2016. Go to my website, anniehelpsyou.com, and check out my astrology blog and my health blog and my other blogs there. And while you're there, sign up for my free email newsletter, which makes you part of my VIP crew. If you're interested in creating successful online business, I am enrolling in that course now. So what is going on in April? April brings us from a very astrologically busy time into a very astrologically busy time, but the energy is different. If you haven't watched my report for March, definitely go back and do that for your sun sign, and if you know your rising sign, look at that report as well. March is a very important report in the way that the energy of it carries over for many months to come, and even further out than that. So understanding how the eclipses can be affecting you and how eclipses in general work are really important to understand because their effects will extend far beyond March itself. So we're leaving March just having had all this eclipse energy come in. By now, most of you will have gotten eclipse news if it's coming. A small percentage of you still have eclipse news to come. Some of it will be new eclipse news, like you're getting your first piece in April. Some of you, it will be more pieces of information coming in that follow the original information. So eclipses bring life-changing events for many people. Not every single person will have a life-changing event when it's an eclipse time, but it's very astrologically busy, we'll say that. And if you're not a person who is having a life-changing experience, you might be holding space or know someone who is having a life-changing experience. Like you're seeing things around, you're like, oh my gosh, everybody's going through something. It depends on what degree the event is at and how that connects into your personal charts as far as how strongly it might affect you. But sometimes people can be very much affected by an eclipse and it's not hitting off of something exactly. You know, there's lots of things to look at. But in any case, April brings us from this time of kind of an open window to try to take some action on things. But at the same time, you're dancing around responding to the things happening and your energy might be taken off of launching things because of the new information that's come in. Personal planets will be in Aries, which is like that typical spring fever for my friends down under. It's autumn fever, you know, when the temperature changes and you get that zest. That is also associated with this astrological time of the planets moving into Aries, because Aries energy brings that zest, it brings that oomph and that life. So you've got in April this forward movement, this desire to take action and push on. And then this giant wall of retrogrades is coming and clashing with that desire for forward movement. Mars is going retrograde April 17th through June 29th. Mercury is going retrograde April 28th through May 21st. The shadow period of Mercury retrograde starts April 2nd, so the whole month is covered in it. And the shadow for Mars retrograde started in February. It wasn't very strong then, but it did start then. And so by the time we're in April, we're very fully entrenched in retrograde energy. And that's not as much a time to push things forward. If you're listening to this report before April, I have recommended that you push things forward if you're going to, or make your attempts to, no later than March 17th is possible, but definitely by the end of March, because the closer you get to that April 17th date, you're going to be having energy pushing back against you. You don't want to launch or birth something new, if possible, when the energy is moving backwards, especially the life force energy of Mars retrograde. So definitely go to Annie Botticelli YouTube and then search for my Mars retrograde video, because there is much to know about Mars retrograde. And I gave a very comprehensive list of do's and don'ts and explaining the energy so you understand it. Retrogrades are very much like being off, like having an off day, except it lasts like a really long time. And in the case of Mars, it can last like 6 months in some ways. The full transit lasts 6 months. The strongest part of the transit lasts about 10 weeks. But it's like when you rule something in your home or your office and you're having an off day, you can't really, it's hard to really get it done. And the getting it done is so uncomfortable and inefficient, and you're aggravated about it. It's kind of like cranky energy. And that's what the retrograde is like. It's like the things that Mars rules or the things that Mercury rules, those departments don't get properly dealt with. You know, there's missed things and there's not a lot of focus or attention. And they're cranky, you know, they're cranky while it's going on. So it's just kind of an awkwardness, you know? So you're going to want to push a lot of things through. And it's not that you can't do anything. You can do things. But initiating, launching, doing new things. And I give a very detailed list of things to avoid doing in the Mars retrograde and the Mercury. I also have a Mercury retrograde video that you can listen to as well. And definitely go to see the write-up on my website, anniehelpsyou.com, of the Mars retrograde blog. It's a written version of the highlights of the Mars retrograde video. So you've got to be very discerning with what you use your energy for. And it's going to be a little challenging because you're going to want to do so much. And you're not, you have to know what it is you're supposed to be doing. It's fine to do things, especially if you're fine-tuning things you've already done. I personally plan vacation for Mars retrograde. I'll be gone for a month in Mars retrograde, and that is perfect timing for a vacation because it's a time when you're not supposed to do as much and you're not going to be able to do as much as you want to, so you'll be happier not even trying. So there's a tremendous amount of energy for Cancers, especially early and middle degree placements. So again, the early degree placements are June 22nd through around July 2nd. The middle degree placements are like July 3rd through around the 12th. So for all the early and some of the middle degree placements, there's a massive amount of energy in the 10th house. The 10th house has to do with work, career, life purpose, father figures, authority figures, and your place in the world, basically, like how you're showing up outside of your house, out in the world. And there's lots of chance for recognition, for acknowledgement, for advancement, for people noticing you, for raises and busy things going on. So for the rest of you middle degree and late degree placements of Cancer, whether it's your rising sign or your sun sign, that energy of 10th house focus is coming soon for you. It's just staggered. Some of you will experience the new moon in the 10th house, this magical new moon, April 7th, new moon in Aries. The new moon in Aries is one of the most astrologically important days of the year, I think, because the astrological new year starts when the sun moves into Aries at the end of March. And then the new moon that occurs right after that is like the best time for getting your vision together of what you want your next year to be like. So it makes it one of the two best times of the year to do a vision board. A vision board is either you can do it virtually or you can do it physically. Getting a piece of cardboard or something like that and clipping out pictures and phrases and things that carry the energy of what you want to create in the next year. Let's say you'd like to have more relaxation, then you will pictures of the beach or whatever is relaxing, or go hiking more, or, have more love in your life, or have more abundance. Whatever those things are that you want to bring in, you put them on the vision board. And part of the power of the vision board is just the intention setting, especially when you do it at an astrologically appropriate time. But some more of the magic that occurs from a vision board is from the impression upon your subconscious mind by leaving your vision board somewhere where you can see it, but you're not necessarily paying close attention to it, but your subconscious mind is picking up on it in the periphery. Many people will do a vision board and put it away and then find it a while later and say, oh my gosh, I've actually created all these things. That's cool. And maybe you weren't even looking at it. That is possible. It intensifies the power of it by having it where your subconscious mind can pick it up, because your subconscious mind is like a loyal, faithful servant. It does the things that you're asking it to do. So if you keep focusing on, I don't have enough money, I need to worry, what about money, and you're like cycling this in your mind, your subconscious mind thinks, oh, you want to worry about money. You want to worry about money. Okay, great. Let's create situations. I'm going to help you create situations that make you worry about money. It's very, very literal. It's that's how the subconscious mind works. So when you ask yourself questions that support using that in your favor, when you surround yourself by the things you want to create more of, then you actually use your subconscious mind to assist you in changing your life. That's also one of the benefits of using subliminal programming and things like that. So this April 7th is this wonderful day for setting into motion all of these intentions that you'd like to see come through for you. And some of you are going to have this new moon energy in the 10th house of career, work, and life purpose. The rest of you are going to have this new moon energy in the 9th house. And the 9th house is actually very strong strongly represented for middle and later degree placements. So from, anywhere from like the beginning of July through, basically the July born Cancers, or from like 10 or 11 degrees on through the rest of the sign if you're looking for your rising sign. So there's the ninth house is very strongly represented there. And the ninth house has to do with adventure. Adventure and long distance travel and different countries and different cultures and different languages and expanding your mind and expanding your horizons and speaking and publishing and teaching and learning and religion and spiritual studies. All of these things are in the house, the domain of Sagittarius. And that's very much represented. The earlier placements, you're just leaving a time where that energy was really strong. But for the middle to later degree placements, that energy is really current still. So you might see those things coming up. The full moon is on April 21st, or for some of you it will be the 22nd, depending on which time zone you're in. And the full moon brings fullness or completion or coming to fruition. Usually it's an emotional building up. And sometimes the emotions are great. There's something really cool that comes to fruition. There's a recognition of something. There's a, completion in a happy way. But often there's drama that goes along with it that is negative. So we don't know how it's going to manifest for you. I always think of full moons like a dog shaking after they're wet, because the water represents emotions, and the full moon is like the shaking off, a clearing out of your energy field of emotions that build up over the moon cycle. So for the early degree placements, this full moon is going to occur in the 5th house. The 5th house has to do with true love, it's called, romance, conception, children, child rearing, creativity and creative projects. Other things like hobbies and talents are here too. So things such as acting and people doing things involving that gift, musicians, singers, people who are great athletes. That energy is also in the 5th house. So there could be something there going on. The rest of you are going to have this energy in the 4th house. And the 4th house has to do with the home and homes themselves. So home, like what you call home, the house itself, other houses you may own, any other real estate venture or design, anything related to a house, and anything related to family, either of origin or a family that you've made. So the fullness, completion, fruition can come from in that house as well, depending on where your placements are. So that's the basic story of what's happening in April. We've got the wall of energy pushing forward. We've got the retrograde wall pushing backward. We've got the collision. So the mission for you for this month and for the months coming is to keep the beachy vibe. I write an astrological write-up for my VIP crew on my email newsletter list, and I title each of those articles to kind of talk about the theme. And I'm calling this month of April Keeping the Beachy Vibe, because this is what I'm putting out there for you as your mission if you choose to accept it. And you can understand how to do this even more by watching the Mars retrograde video, watching the Mercury retrograde video, looking at the blog on my site, because the more you understand the retrogrades and what to do and what not to do, that's going to help you keep your zen. Because if you're doing everything astrologically appropriately, there's going to be a lot of less stress. And if you understand what's happening, then you can guide your actions around your understandings. So that's going to be your mission, is to bring this energy of the beach and relaxation into the month. And part of how you can do that is being knowledgeable about these things, which I've given you every opportunity to do if you want to. And the second thing is to write a list of the things that you absolutely have to do. Pare down the list, like get really raw and say, okay, I think I have to do all these things, but really I don't have to do all those. Maybe you can delegate some, maybe you can put off some, maybe some just don't need to be done at all if you really think about it. And really get like a nice, concise list of the things you have to do. And then even ask the questions, why do I think I have to do these things? Like, this is a time to assess how you use your energy and how you can use your energy more efficiently. So by looking at the things you absolutely have to do and then leaving the rest aside, you'll be able to keep your zen much easier. And by looking at the questions like, why do I always have all these things to do and what can I do about that? Then you get to positively affect the rest of your life by taking the time to address those things now. So if you'd like some assistance with this, you can go to my website, anniehelpsyou.com, or click on the link below this video. While you're there, you can sign up for my free email newsletter and become part of my community. If you're interested in creating successful online business, I'm enrolling in that course now or soon, depending on when you're watching this. And definitely check out my Train Your Brain tab. Train Your Brain is a series of bundles of subliminal programs that I put together. I, in the past, many years ago, used subliminal programs that I had purchased that were on tapes at that time. And I found over time that all the things I was working on with subliminal programs, I actually created in my life in a very strong way. So I decided I wanted to make my own and assist with the things that I see people coming in sessions with and having challenges with. So check out those. They're very inexpensive ways to place new neuronal pathways in your brain, which lay the precedence for new experiences in your life. So I hope you have a wonderful month, and I'll see you next month. Bye.